Hello, good evening and welcome back to it. This is Crossy for Eclipse Gaming TV and we are underway with our second game of the night and unfortunately our final game of the night because got work in the morning and all that good stuff. Unfortunately, commentating doesn't pay enough money for me to be able to do this full time. In fact, it doesn't pay any money, which is kind of disappointing after 10 years, but that's the way of things. So I'm going to bring you this action. This is the ESL UK Premiership and this is the third round overall, second game on the stream tonight, and we have got Monumentalis versus Viperio, two organisations running with some fairly new teams. The Monumentalis team have been together under the organisation for about 3 weeks. Viperio announced theirs around about 6 days ago, and these two teams have done pretty well getting themselves through 2 rounds already, so we are expecting a little bit of a challenge here. Apologies for not getting some of the other games that you guys wanted to watch. I was initially thinking let's get some perilous action in, but I wanted to get this game going nice and quickly rather than leave you guys waiting around half an hour for another game to start. Also a bit of love for U-Frag. I want to see some more U-Frag action. And yeah, I think there are some potentially very good games starting to come together in this round 3. We saw a U-Frag get pushed a little closer than I was expecting last time out on the stream, probably about an hour ago, there or thereabouts, maybe just under that. But we've got another interesting clash here, and I think this one could be a little closer, both on paper and in reality, as we got Ray making his way straight out into the mid, as we've got a fairly fast push coming in, and that flash might have saved them, and definitely trying to do some damage. He does get one, but he could have potentially had caused a very bad day for the Viperio boys had he not caught a bit of that flash. Got exact up top, doing some good work as Bates is able to pick up a frag as well, leaving Dante last man standing on the site. Viperio isn't able to get the plant down for those 800 valuable dollars during this very early stage, and it is going to be first by going to the CTs, which seems to be a pattern we've seen on a fairly regular basis today. First round going in favour of CTs, but it doesn't necessarily stick that way, as we've got a couple of upgraded Tech 9s, bit of utility on Dante for the terrorists to make use of. So going to be interesting to see how this one pans out. Even if they don't get the win here and potentially don't even get a plant, Viperio may still be looking at a fight. They go straight into the site, and we've got Jordan Bates spraying down. He gets a frag up on the walkway, and he's got a chance in second as well, as he's able to take down Q. How do you pronounce that? I'm just going to wing it, as Bates is able to pick up the final frag, and that's Dante going down. So a very comfortable CT hold against the pistol push coming in from Monumentalis, which they're going to be very happy about. Going to try and get as many rounds on the board as they can. It's one of those maps, Cash, where it can be very heavily CT sided potentially, but a terrorist team, as Samuel catches that nade. Perfect catch there. He'd get him in the cricket team, and his first barrel straight out, and that fire's going to cause some serious damage as well. And Jammy James is a little bit jammy in the checkers as he picks up a frag before Exact is able to clean it up, and it is going to be 3-0 as expected. So no forced third round buy from the terrorists after losing the first 2. No bomb plants to help out their financial situation. So we are now down to the first buy versus buy here in this third round of the third round of ESL qualifying. This is the UK Premiership that we're watching, and this is Crossy bringing you the action for Eclipse Gaming TV. And that fire's doing some serious damage on the boost, and a couple of those players escape not only with their lives but with points of health to play with, and Dante's there with the opening frag taking down Bates, who's in the A storage area. Got to get the boost, I think it might have been, or in a position that was maybe a little bit questionable. You know, you can get away with that with a bit of time, but if the terrorists want to come and face you with their AKs, which they're going to be feeling fairly confident about doing against the M4s and the kind of rifles that you've got up for grabs, then you don't want to be messing around in there. You want to have your gun angled in the direction of where the on-rushing terrorists are going to be coming from. But it's been a trade. The trade probably favours the terrorists. We've got CSGO with the AWP playing it from the back. He's got his bike now, and he's back doing what he can. He picks up one. He's got a teammate there as well. That is Phil who's going to down a bit, and in doing that he's able to pick up a frag as well. So 2v2. We're probably going to see the first plant come in. Jamie James could be in trouble, but he gets taken out just in the nick of time. Jod though knows exactly where he is down in the checkers. Hasn't got any, well, he's got one flash he can throw out. He's wait for his teammate to come in. Jod comes out on top, and it's CSGO coming out on top as well. And I think the two Viperio players, they had the chance, maybe just an inkling, an extra half a second to have made those shots, but it was the CTs in both counts that came out on top, and CSGO keeps hold of his AWP as well. So nice work, I guess, from the terrorists, taking 3 players down. But if you look at the cash for Monumentalis, they are not too worried about losing those players. They've got a claw by. They've got enough cash to put something together next time. They can drop an AWP if they want to, and they are up against upgraded pistols with a 4-0 lead. So are we going to see something a little interesting? We saw the team that Ufrag were playing. I can't remember their name offhand now. Apologies for that, guys. Ray comes in with 1 frag, who are looking a little short of ideas on the T side when they're on this. I think we are seeing a little bit of that again. CSGO comes out collecting frags in bunches already before he's eventually caught by Jamie James. Not Chris, but that was Phil, sorry, at the back of sight. I keep saying Crisp in his name. That's Crisp Servers. They're starting to pick up a couple of decent little arrangements with sort of UK-based teams. Monumentalis, they're working, I believe, with Rasta and Perilous as well. Guessing, I've been saying Jod, but that's JDD. That's, I believe, my mistake.
Counter-terrorists win.
Seems like a standard UK commentator thing, the inability to get names right. But I'll tell you who are getting it right. Monumentalis, who take a 5-0 lead into this one. Again, decent amount of cash to play with, but that advantage is going to get squashed as more and more rounds go on the board. Plenty of loss bonus built up for the terrorists. Long story short, if you're new to this or you don't play that often, if you lose X number of rounds on the bounce, you do start to rack up just a little bit more money every time. And on T side, if you've lost a bunch of rounds, you've got enough cash to be able to keep on buying those arcades and armour, potentially going forward. And it's something to think about. Another thing to think about though is you lose that once you pick up a round. So worst scenario possible is to win a round and lose it straight back, because you are screwing your financial reserves by doing that and build it back up. When you've only got 15 rounds and a half to play with, you can't be messing around ecoing too much, as Dante uses a flash, kind of blinds himself with that one, but he's able to step out and take CSGO, who's down in the boost spot. And we saw that spot was quite effective for Rilla in the last game. He was able to pick up 3 frags from there, with 3 players coming in from 3 completely different angles into the mid. That's a decent trade. The one area you don't want to lose someone, if you're talking about a trade, whether it's CT or T side, you'd rather lose someone on the T side, because with CSGO down, it means these guys have got to think, how are we going to plug that hole? Where are we going to go? And that overlay map just is not working quite how we would have liked, so I'm going to sack that off. If that sorts itself out. But we've got a full-on coming in now. Phil's going to do some damage. He takes down the AWP on another player, and that's his turn. Samuel in the mid is holding that area, waiting for the rotate to come in and bait straight into the trap. Got Ray on the side. And he walks straight past JDD, who was the last man standing, and he's caught. So 3-man from Phil for Monumentalist is cut straight down by some good individual play from the terrorists, and they put their first round on the board. So 5-1. Still enough cash for a decent little buy, but very little utility aside from 1 or 2 players. Exact and JWD are packing heat. In JWD's case, he is literally packing heat with his Molotov, and I'm cranking out all the ropey little one-liners there. I'm sorry guys, it's getting late. Had too much coffee, that kind of thing. But here we go. We got another trade early on. 1 player going down, and it's Ray for the terrorists. So that's going to favour the CTs. They would much rather be having the 1-man advantage. Samuel though stepping straight up, and he's taking CSGO for the 2nd time. He's looking in a strange direction. He was looking actually towards the vent area, which can't really explain that one. Maybe trying to look away from a flash or something from the utility flying over, but now we do have that trade completed. It's 1 versus 1, and JDD can be caught blind, and we now have a pincer coming into the site as Bates caught at the back of site. And now we're starting to see Viperio working their way into this game slowly. Could have the chance for a second here if they've got a 4 versus 2 advantage. Jamie James down to 17 points of health, so he could be an easy kill. No nades up though for the two Monumentalis players, and I think they are going to save this one quite wisely. Starting to run out of cash, and they're going to try and save this one up, I guess. See what they're going to do next time around. Little chance to look at the scoreboard as well. So they are not going to be buying. Nice work from Phil though, as he takes one of the weapons off of Dante. Things aren't hugely stable as far as finances go for Viperio as well, and 1 round loss might end up leaving themselves well and truly back up against it. So 5-2. First chance to have a look at the scoreboard. So Q down at the bottom of the scoreboard with no frags for Viperio, and that's absolutely fine because I'm not sure I'm pronouncing his name right. Jamie James in at the top for Viperio. A couple of players, Phil and Seski, both on 8 and Exact with 7. But Seski has got picked up a couple of times from the mid area when he's been holding it, and that's one of the reasons why they've lost 2 rounds on the spin here. And that's not a good position to be trading. And once you get mid control on the terrace side, you can either hit somewhere on mass, you can spread out, and more often than not, it just gives more angles that you have to watch on both sides. You have to watch your vents if you're in B. If you're in A, there's a chance it could come in from CT. You could get attacked from short. Storage area, you can get caught from multiple angles at multiple times. It's not a good position to be in, so you need to keep control of that mid area. And Seski goes down 3rd time in a row, and it's Dante. I think that's the 2nd time he's picked up that pick in the space of 3 rounds. So in the ascendancy as far as that mid control goes, although that wasn't one of the rifles that they've managed to drop. So still got those 2 rifles that got saved. Since you go on 1 site each for that one. Got Phil making his way over towards A, which looks like that's where the play's going to go. And Phil makes use of that weapon with a couple of frags, but the other rifle goes down before Phil picks up his 3rd. So it's now down to 2v2. JDD coming through the mid area with the deagle in hand. He's got a teammate there with him. Potentially JDD is able to get Ray. So it's down to Dante, last man standing. Got the opening pick. Got 3 frags total in this round. Got the plant down as well, so that's $800 already in the bank for the team. So, nearly got caught. He's down to 28 points of health, and they're both swarming in on him now. So after 2 rounds on the bounce, it is the CT's Monumentalis bringing this one back. Phil with 3 frags puts himself comfortably to the top of the scoreboard now with 11 frags, and gets himself a gold star for his efforts there as well. So Monumentalis is going to be on the buy now, but are Viperio going to be doing the same? I would suggest yes, they probably are, with a drop going in the direction of Array. Q with the AWP in hand, maybe that's why he's been kept quiet. We're going to see some fireworks with the big green cannon. Saw Powell do great things with it for U-Frag in the last game. Seski going up into mid and going to boost into the vents instead before he looks back to mid, and I'm going to so what I'm going to do actually, I'm going to get on board with Seski really quickly and see how he's playing this mid area, because he's got caught out a few times here. So he's going to play himself safe, just sit in on the angle, or is he going to push? Is he going to get aggressive? Tempted, and exactly there to pick up a frag. So let's get back to the action. Auto director, please make me look good. So Q's one down. So we're going to get pause up and coming after this round. That's not going to help things, and yet the pause does get called for. Numbers 4v3 in favour of Monumentalis, and maybe this is the excuse that Seski needs to get a little bit aggro. 53 seconds left to go, plenty of time. Players stacking up towards the A site, this is where they want to go. With the first frag, and he's got 2 straight away. Good AK control with a couple of frags straight off the bat. CSGO mops up with the final frag, taking it to 7-2, and we are going to see that pause. I would expect. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so pause is underway. So a short delay, no doubt, and a little chance to have a little look at what's going on so far. So Phil taking the lead, 11 frags to 5 for Monumentalis. And Monumentalis have a decent little advantage here, aside from this little wobble where they lost a couple of rounds, round 6 and round 7. They've been in the ascendancy, won the first 5, and then they've won the next 2 on the spin as well. And Viperio lost a man early on, so lost that advantage, but also had the timeout from Q, which won't have helped their cause and leave them in a bit of a hole. As far as cash goes, they almost definitely won't be able to force anything here, so it's going to be, unless anything crazy happens, an 8 versus 2 score to be looking at. So Viperio going on the bye, they're going to be looking to try and get 5-6 rounds on the board. If you get to that point, then that is a very, very strong position to be in from the T side, I would suggest. This does play as a more CT-sided map in theory, but there are things you can do to take control of it. For example, if you can get the pick on the mid player, CSGO going down a couple of times, then you've got that mid control and you can, in theory, make a lot of use from that. It gives you so many options, but it also relies on other things. You've got to make your entry frags either from mid into the A site or through the vents. You've got to work your pincer movements, you've got to come in from multiple angles. And if mid control is gained, it is possible for the guys on CT, both in B and in A, just to sit back and make sure that that angle isn't going to be a real issue, and again make use of your utility to flash, smoke, slow down any potential pushes. And what's quite difficult when you do have that mid control is if you all go into the one site from the same angle at the same time, you're causing some real trouble for yourselves. You might find yourself get cut down. But we are back underway here very soon. Q is back in the server. He restores his score of 0 kills to 7 deaths. Hasn't made anything count with the AWP so far in his hand either. It seems like he's the team AWPer. You're on board with Crossy from Eclipse Gaming TV. And yes, Eclipse Gaming TV is nowhere near as big as I was planning it to be when I had the idea a couple of years ago, mainly due to time and other commitments and not really having my own place yet, which you'll see on my YouTube channel I've talked about on a number of occasions, and due to various delays with that, I haven't had anywhere near as much time to bring games as I'd like. So it's going to be few and far between, but I'm going to try and get as much ESL UK Premiership action, both live. I might try and get some demos for some of the big games as well and get those on the YouTube channel. So to be honest, guys, get subscribed, and I'll try and do a little bit more as Bates gets the opening frag as he takes down Samuel. They have managed to get themselves out into the site here, but Bates and JDD doing serious damage with the fire and with pistols and with everything, and Bates is able to clean up as well. So 2 for Bates, 2 for JDD, and CSGO with a frag as well. Far too comfortable, but that was an eco bash, don't forget. So 8-2 in favour of Monumentalis. Going to have a full buy underway. Q with the AWP in hand. He gets his opening frag, which is going to be a nice one. So I don't think you can really claim that either of these teams won't have been warmed up in the third game that they will have played. So should be in fine form, ready for this one. You'd expect that if the CTs, if Monumentalis can continue to turn the screw, pick up another round or 2, then this could be another quick and fairly comfortable game. But who knows? You never know. Things could go either way. It's only going to take another 2, maybe 3 rounds for Viperio before they can be a real challenger, and this could be costly. Going on the boost, and he does manage to pick up Samuel, but that's a tough spot. If you've got a player there watching, which is exactly what Samuel's doing, then he has got that split-second advantage. As Exact's going to walk into the mid area as well. He's in there trying to spam through the smoke. Giving away his position, but I don't think he intends to sit there, so he's on the move. CSGO, the mid player, backing up for Bates, holding that angle instead, so I think they can split back to A and B. Confident that they're able to soften the numbers a little bit. As we're now seeing this push coming into the big area, so we've got a couple of players coming through. And has not helped his cause, gets the AWP, takes his teammate out, and we've now got the rotate coming in far too easy. And Monumentalis looking by far the better team so far, I would suggest. And Viperio, are they a little short on ideas on this T side? Well, yeah, again, I would suggest they're guilty of the same thing as we saw in the last game. It's a little bit too much of where's the cutting edge. And for these guys, they're not barreling in en masse, just trying to hit somewhere as such, but they are holding back and they're not getting too much. Pick says he could be in a bit of trouble, but he recovers it, gets the spray down, there's a bit of help from his teammates, I think. Philo with the spray down as well, he takes down the bomb in B storage, leaving Ray last man standing, 1 versus 3. And they went out en masse, and Seski in a bit of trouble caught with the switch, but was able to find some composure, get his weapon out, and it leaves Ray, who's already picked up a couple of frags on Seski and JDD. See what he can do now. Needs to get over to B storage, grab the bomb, which is caught in a pincer movement between these two players. They've got to make sure they don't overcommit. Phil 1v1, and he comes out on top, and I'm really not surprised. Phil's still just about leading the way with Seski just behind it. 15 and 5 and 13 and 8 their scores respectively. All back in the hand of Q. And this is the loss bonus starting to rack up again. It's 5 on the spin. After this point, Viperio were able to turn it around and pick up a couple of rounds. And man, would they love to do that again. It's, the loss bonus is going to help them, and Setski could be in a bit of trouble again. Caught with his nade out, but again he recovers and he's able to pick up a gun and a frag before JDD, sorry, Exact and Philo all grabbing a frag each during that time, leaving Q last man standing. Time to impress, bro. Minute 22 left to go on the clock. Back at the bottom of the scoreboard after a team kill. And you'd expect they're going to be quite tempted to hunt him down here. Exact on 10k, Bates on just under 15k, so not a whole lot to lose. Hughes showed himself from behind the truck, caught by JDD, and Monumentalis have full control here. Already good stuff from the Monumentalis guys, doing very well in their ESCA intermediate. I think they're still topping the group from memory, but correct me if I'm wrong on that front. But already less than a month since that team came together under the Monumentalis banner, and we are already starting to see some half decent results from them, and they're looking solid and strong here as they take on Viperio. But harder T side, there's still plenty to play for, and you never know. Viperio, not going to happen that way though. You don't want to be giving your life away though. JDD got himself in a strange little position, kind of pushed through with his teammate as Exact able to get one in the fire before Q gets one, and they try and chase him down, but Exact is able to get one through squeaky. So numbers favour the CTs, 3v2. Bomb does get planted, that's going to help the Viperio cash situation, but players coming in from all angles, and Q wakes up and Philo doesn't even need to take a pause. He holds mouse 1 from the right side of the screen to the left, 2 frags, gets the defuse as well, and that is pretty much job done, I think, for Monumentalis. 12-2. Viperio, with the amount of rounds that they've lost, they're going to be able to put together a half decent buy. Q probably going to grab the AWP, and does, but has been largely ineffective for the team. And that's the trouble. Even if you've got an AWPer that can be effective on the CT side, for example, they're only really going to be locking down that mid area, and if you don't give them enough rounds to get the AWP in hand, well, there's just no chance as Bates gets himself in a position looking for the pick, and that's Kyo going down. Donkey might have a chance to get a frag, and he tends to be winning out on his 1v1 battles, but the same can't be said, unfortunately, for the rest of his team. Samuel up on top of the truck, not in a position to do any real damage unless someone goes for the boost to chase after them, and I don't think that's going to happen. The CTs will be quite happy with their trade and will just drop back into their sights, no doubt. Let's leave that mid area open, I think is going to be their plan. It's Exact who does drop into the mid area, not committing too much right now. As Philo gets one frag taking down Ray, so the favouring as Seski with the trade. He tends to get one, maybe two frags in the mid before he's caught, but he is getting caught, and you'd expect that maybe a player that's being a little more sensible with his position, maybe not being quite so aggressive, might be able to make the pick and drop back in. And JDD is caught at the back of sight. So 2 versus 2. Philo, who's leading the charge for his team at the top of the scoreboard, is going to try and make his way in from the truck area. He's got Bates with the AWP, spamming through the smoke. He's got a couple of possible options if they peek. But I don't think they will. They're just going to sit in and wait for these players to come onto the site. Phil might have the angle though on the truck. And it's Jamie James who barely escapes with his life. Bates takes the health, so Bates could get the chance to chase them both down if he wants to. And he's just got to find Jamie James from around these crates, throws a Molotov, and that might do the damage. If James runs straight into that fire, he's got to go the other way around again. Try not to commit himself, and he does manage to pick up the frag. So 12-3 it is. Monumentalis looking very strong, and it would have been pretty much curtains if it wasn't for that final round going in favour of Viperio. But still, not an ideal situation for him. 12 against 3, and it could come down to what happens with his pistol. The Glocks against the P2000s and the USPs. The Glocks are still overmatched. It's been balanced a little bit from what it used to be way back in the day, but still the Glocks have that advantage, and we've got some armour around as well. So, and that hasn't helped JDD with Philo helping him out, able to pick up a couple of frags. Chipping in to get the frag, and Q and Viperio Ray and firing back though. So they're going to try and get in here. Seski though on the back of the site is able to run around and take Q. That's going to open up the site, and Ray's been spotted inside the checkers area. They must have known he was there from before, and he's able to pick up one. Samuel, one ball straight to the dome with the silenced USP, but that position would have been called. So JDD peeks. He knows he's got both players coming in from that angle. So now he's got to play rope-a-dope and try and get him in with the pincer movement. Both players go in the same direction, but they do one at a time effectively. And Jamie James is there, and he's walking straight into that first shot from JDD. Timer ticking away. He's got 2 players to find here as Samuel, and he picks up the knife, but he's taken down to 2 points of health, leaving Bates an easy chance to clean up. And with that delay around the site, the bomb was ticking away. Probably didn't have a lot of time to make anything happen, and Monumentalis take the first round of the second half. 13-3 advantage. Guns against the pistols. Got CZ. Aside from that, it's upgraded pistols and armour to work with. Bates going for the boost up into the top and into mid, and they've got full mid control already here. Have Monumentalis go try and make it count. And they might have a chance here. Dante down to 17 HP. Bates being quite aggressive in there with the P90 in hand, all things considered. Just went barreling straight in. Didn't really check the angles around him. And the advantage, so Q does get a frag, and he takes Seski down. So it's 4v5, sorry, in favour of Viperio. Got that one-man advantage, but all of the Viperio players effectively down to pretty low HP. But someone's able to get exact as well, so maybe they're going to trade this round straight back. 3 versus 5. As Philo takes down Q. So the bomb is going to be reachable. Going to drop just outside of A storage, so they're going to be able to pick that one up. And a chance to go and make a play into B. There's only Ray last man in there. And the rotate is coming en masse, so they're going to have to be quick if they want to go with this. Maybe throw a fake back if they want. But they're going to have players from Viperio making their way into the site very quickly. They are low, and Philo's managed to get his third of the round. Samuel and Jamie James trailing in from behind as well, and I think they made a mistake here not going en masse with all of them pouring straight in. I guess on low HP against rifles it could be costly. You could find yourselves on the end of a spray down, but getting picked off one at a time, or 3 at a time it was to begin with, and then one at a time there, no use to you whatsoever, especially when you're up against it. You get that advantage, you get a couple of picks, 5v3, you've got to do more with that. And Monumentalis looking far too strong. I was expecting a half decent matchup between these two, having got through into the third round, but we have definitely not seen that so far. And with Monumentalis 2 rounds away from victory, they have not got a lot of time to play with Might see an aggressive push from Viperio, and this is going to be dangerous because Bates is there. On the spray down, and he's got 3 chances for a 4th, and he gets it. Going to go for the Tech 9 now into the site. 5-man is on. Someone's going to try not to get caught out on Bates. He's seen his man, he's got it, and he has picked up the 5-man. What a way to go to 15-3 as well. So I think this is going to be final chance at the scoreboard. Philo 23-7, well and truly leading the charge. The rest of the team pretty nicely spread out, all on about 14, 15, 16 frags. Q kept very quiet, but he's picked a decent amount of points up from other meads. Yeah, nobody really running away with it apart from Samuel, who's done a decent job, but it feels like the frags that he's picked up haven't been hugely influential in the context of the game. They've just been there, he's been picking them up, but as we can see from the scoreboard, 15-3, none of them have been particularly round winning, I would suggest. So we've got Ray in the mid area, but they don't need to worry about the mid area. They're going straight in on this A site. Samuel in a bit of trouble, in a bit of strife, and that Molotov would have flushed him out, but doesn't need it. Bates already picked up one. Bates goes on the boost onto the boxes. The 2 players coming in from mid. That's quite clear. It looks like they're trying to continue to work onto that angle, but with the way it's looking, 3v3. Sorry guys, I'm having an absolute mare here. There we go. As Philo is able to pick up 1 and make that another. So Philo again with his 3, make that 4. He's been collecting frags in bunches on his way to 27-7, and that is a very comprehensive 16-3 victory for Monumentalis for this game on cash. So that was the 3rd round of the ESL UK Premiership qualifiers, and this has been Crossy for Eclipse Gaming TV. Now, unfortunately, I'm going to have to jump off here, guys, because I've got